Hey, welcome everyone to another interview in our KCWC 2026 faculty interview series. Um, I'm so excited that you are here to join us. My name is Cindy Smith, and I am the faculty chair for the 2026 Kentucky Christian Writers Conference, which will be October 15th through the 17th in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. So we're just really excited that you're here to hear our interview today, and I'm going to throw it over to my co-host, Greg.
Hey, my name's Greg Turnquist. I'm this year's technology chair, so I just help make sure all the websites are operational. And I'm also married to our wonderful fearless coordinator, Sarah Turnquist.
Yeah, you help make us look good, Greg. You make everything sound good and look good. So I thank you.
Well, as much as I appreciate that, I think what makes us look good is our wonderful faculty that we have brought in. And I'm excited 100%. To talk to our latest faculty member that's going to be with us this year.
Yes, her name is Heather Greer. Heather, welcome to our interview. How are you this morning?
I'm doing great, and I am looking forward to KCWC this year. Last year was an amazing conference. Every year I've been, it's been an amazing conference. And I know this year will be no different. You are probably, I know all conferences, they pray over and the leadership prays over it, and time is spent seeking God for it. But I just really have felt every year that I've been the spirit as the conference goes on, not just beforehand, but even during the conference. And that is such a wonderful thing for the conference to have.
Oh, it's awesome to hear, because that's the heart that the executive board, that is the heart that they have for it, and then they help to inspire that with us on the planning team. So that is wonderful to hear. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself, like where you live and maybe what you like to do for fun?
I am a wife, mother, pastor's wife. I'm a Gigi. I live in Southern Illinois. If you have an idea of where Southern Illinois is, go further south, and that's where I am. I live in a little town called McCanda that nobody has ever heard of. Our only claims to fame are we were the eclipse crossroads for both of the eclipses.
Okay.
And yeah, which is, I think we were like the only place where the center crossed in both the eclipses that recently happened. And then, we also have Vulture Fest. So you may have, heard of that. Hopefully not. And in my free time,
they'll make a fair for everything. They'll make a fair for anything.
You're looking for an icebreaker. That right there is the winner.
I need to write a book about Vulture Fest.
Absolutely.
But in my free time, which is very little, I like doing baking and crafting. And right now I'm working on my first diamond painting, which is an interesting experience. So yeah, I really enjoy doing other creative pursuits other than just my writing.
Yeah, I think that when we can do other creative pursuits, that helps to fuel our writing.
Yes.
Absolutely. What is diamond painting?
Yeah.
So you have, it's kind of like counted cross stitch, only instead of sewing, you have a canvas with a picture on it, and it's sticky. And you take these little tiny gems, basically, diamonds, resin, and you're picking them up with a little tube thing with sticky wax on it and moving them to the place that they belong on the canvas.
Oh, that sounds so fun.
So it's very tiny. And that's kind of, my eyes aren't as young as they used to be. And so I find myself
I hear you.
My glasses off to do it and then looking up and not being able to see anything at all. Yes. But it is relaxing. And my husband's like, wow, would that not drive you nuts? And I'm like, no, actually, it's kind of, I put on some music and just sit and do it. And it's not, it is relaxing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think I'm going to have to look into that. My youngest daughter is trying to find crafts that she can do. And I think that might be right up her alley. So I'm going to definitely look into that.
Now you're also, a writer. I realize somebody you shared is that you're an editor for why don't you tell us a little bit about your day job, if you will, as an editor and what that involves?
I'm the managing editor for Scrivenings Press. We're a small traditional Christian publisher. We publish mostly fiction in any genre except for horror. We don't do horror. So we have speculative, we have middle grade. We also don't do picture books. Middle grade is as young as we go. And so we have middle grade, young adult, adult in all the genres, like I said, except for horror. And we also have our speculative line, which has your fantasy and your dystopian and every other subgenre that there is in there. So we acquire a lot of fiction. I do have acquisitions as one of the things that I do as part of being the managing editor. And then I also kind of herd the authors and the editors to keep our publishing schedule on track, which is like herding cats. It's not an easy task sometimes.
Have you seen that commercial? It's on, if you Google YouTube herding cats, it's this commercial with these guys on. Oh, that's so funny. He's like, I'm a third generation
Cat herder. It was like, so identify with that. Now, before you were an editor, you were a writer?
Yes.
What's your...
I still am. Yeah.
You still are. What's your, like, what sort of writing do you do and have done? I'm like, illuminate us.
I write mostly contemporary romance. And then I do have some women's fiction. They all tend to, even in the women's fiction, tend to be like romantic women's fiction. I have an historical romance that I kind of fell into. But I loved and kind of wouldn't mind doing it again, which surprises me because I'm not a history person at all. And then I do have one writing craft book and one Christmas devotional as well. So mostly I just like to tell good stories about people trying to live their faith every day. I want to encourage and challenge other believers. When they read the story, I want them to find like their best friend on the page. You know, we all come away from a great story feeling like we've spent time with a best friend. I want people to feel that way when they leave my books, but I also want them to come away maybe seeing something in my characters that God wants to grow in them, or something that encourages them in their faith, because faith isn't a Sunday thing. It's not an in this area, in this area, in this area thing. It is an all the time thing. It should be who we are. And so I want my characters, even though they're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, to kind of show that to people.
Yeah. I think that's amazing. And I think that is just such a benefit you can have by writing fiction, is you can write someone else's story, a fictional character's story, and we can see ourselves in them, and we can say, oh, I can attempt to be, my sanctification can be worked out if I try this, because we might pick up a book that we just want to lose ourselves in more than a self-help book. So I think that fiction is such an amazing way to present that, to maybe even, I will say even non-believers can pick up a Christian book and read it. I have a great aunt who is a devout atheist, but every time I post any books that my Christian friends have written, she's like, oh, I'm going to get it and read it. So I'm like, okay, you know, you don't know where this book is your books are going to land. So that's exciting. I haven't published my first book, but I finished my first novel, and it's contemporary Christian. And so I'm excited. I might need to talk to you when we're just I'm going to do it independently, but I'd love to talk to you about some ideas that I have when we get together in October. Mm-hmm. I am excited about the workshops that you're going to be leading, one of which is Blah to Brilliant, be the podcast guest hosts love, and letting Canva work for you. Those sound like really fun classes. I'm going to try to take the Canva one, because I love Canva and any ideas that I can get to help grow my proficiency or my abilities in Canva. I'm looking forward to that. So with these classes, are they going to be more like instructional, interactive, inspirational?
Well, I hope there is some interaction because I love the questions. I love seeing where the class takes the material. It is more instructional. It is more about the marketing and business side of writing than some of the other classes you might see, but those are the things that I find I struggle with. Those are the things I've heard time and time and time again that other authors struggle with. It's I want to tell my stories. That's it. Why am I having to do all this other stuff?
Yeah.
And it's part of our call. It's part of being good stewards. And so just like we learn the craft of writing and keep growing and learning in that and get our writing coaches and have our critique groups and things like that, we need to spend time learning the things that help us in the marketing side that maybe don't come as easily as or as joyfully as some of the other aspects.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't know if you know this, but I'm Sarah Turnquist. I'm her organizational / author assistant person. And I am trying to learn more about the marketing side for her. I started out just like getting her calendar in order and doing her filing. And now it's more like, how can I help her with her marketing of her books, which it's hard because I enjoy that, but I also want to write. But where some people feel daunted, I'm like, I feel like I've got this challenge in front of me and I'm ready to to try to figure out all the ways that I can help. So those will be fun classes. Yeah.
So your workshops are more geared toward the business side of writing versus craft oriented type stuff.
Yes, very much so. I mean, we get into, again, looking at marketing just a little bit in both of them and kind of reframing what marketing is. Because marketing does go with our story. Marketing is taking that message and making that message available. It's not about selling. I mean, yes, in some sense it is, but to reframe how we look at marketing and say, how can I get the message God placed on my heart out to readers in the best way possible? Yeah. And so they do go hand in hand. And I really hope that people who are daunted by the idea of another program to learn can come to the Canva class and learn what all it can do, because it goes way beyond social media. It goes way beyond the graphics and things like that we share online. And there's a lot to it the further you get in, and it's very much an introductory class for those who don't have any knowledge of, who don't use it, who don't maybe even understand exactly what it is and the kind of tool that it can be for them. And then with podcasting, you know, we're all told, oh, be guests on podcasts, run a podcast, things like that. And for a lot of us, we're introverts who don't necessarily like being in that spotlight, and it's uncomfortable. And so just some little tips and tricks that I've taken from, I work with a podcast. I work with the Your Best Writing Life podcast as the associate producer. So I do like the scheduling and things like that. And through my time with that podcast and co-hosting a podcast with Linda Goldfarb called Staying Real About Faith and Family, and through my contacts with other podcasters, I've gathered their tips. I've gone through and I sent out a questionnaire to all the podcasters I knew and said, okay, I'm writing this class and I know where I'm going with it. I know what I've learned in my own personal experience, but I want to hear what you think the podcast guests need to know. And I compiled all that for the attendees of the class so that they can see it's not just one person. It is coming from podcast hosts, that these are the things that will make you stand out as a guest that they want and enjoy having back.
Yeah.
So you work with a lot. You work with naturally a lot of authors in being the managing editor for a press. So is this something you see all the time? As I don't want to say the word deficiency amongst authors. That kind of has a negative rap to it, but lack of awareness. They're not aware. You don't know what you don't know. It's just
Yeah, it very much is. Again, we like to sit at our desk by ourselves writing our stories. And there are some that love the podcasting or interview side of things. But there are others that it is really, really uncomfortable. They have to prepare themselves for it, but they don't know the best ways to prepare. They don't know the best ways. As a associate producer, I get cold asks all the time in the email of, hey, I've got this and I think it would be great for your podcast. And I can tell from the first line, they have no idea what our podcast is about. No idea. It's just throwing it out. And that's a waste of energy. And that's a waste of time. And so through this class, I'm hoping that people come away with a little better toolbox to help them focus their energies and efforts. Because again, we all want to get back to writing the stories. So if we can streamline these other things that are going kind of like the sideline of our storytelling, we can get back to the writing. We can get back to the messages that God places on our hearts to share.
Yeah. And I think that one of the things, thanks to social media, a lot of readers want to know more about the authors. They're interested in the books, but now too, it's like, oh, I want to know, like, what's their favorite coffee? That it's just part of the social media influence on everything. We don't want to just see a little picture on the back of the book of the author. We want to know them. And so
well, I think it's always been that way. I think social media just gives us a completely different avenue to do it. Okay. I remember I was an avid reader as a child and as a teenager, and I wrote to my favorite authors. And when they would write back, it was amazing, I remember my all-time favorite author, and this is as an adult, but before really social media became such a huge player. And I had the opportunity to meet my all-time favorite author in person and sit down and speak with her. And we actually we were at a really, really intimate kind of conference, almost like a workshop conference, where there was a very limited number of people allowed to come. And when it got to be lunchtime, we actually kept talking and had our lunch together while we were talking. And it was an amazing thing. It was that connection. And I had always felt connected to her through her stories, but taking it that next level was really cool. And I think that social media does give us that outlet now where we can do that on a regular basis without having to go to a book signing or an event or whatever. But we as authors need to learn how to capitalize on that comfortably. And capitalize is a horrible word to use. It sounds very self-serving, and that is not what I mean at all.
Right.
But it allows us to connect with the people who are connecting with our stories, and that's a good thing.
I like that. You're going to be you're going to be teaching the workshops, but you're also going to be taking appointments as an acquisition editor.
Yes.
What would you want someone to know before they come to meet with you? What's some advice that you would give them?
Don't be scared. I know that sounds kind of basic. But you get into these meetings with people and they don't know where to start, and they don't know how to present, and they don't know, and they're also worried that it's not just as professional as it absolutely needs to be. And yes, we do need to present ourselves professionally, but we're all still human. And so just bring me the heart of your story. Bring me the why. Bring me what you've done to help make the story as strong as it can be. And that's what I want to hear. I want to hear the heart behind it. I want to hear how you've cared for this book baby that God has blessed you with.
Yeah.
And help make it grow and be stronger.
Yeah. I like that. Watching, as Sarah's assistant, I have watched her write several, how many books since I started working for her. And it's fun to see her develop her characters, and I get very invested in them. It's like, and sometimes she and I will have conversations like they're actually real people. So almost like having that, like when they come to talk to you, it's almost like you can tell that they are so invested, and you're looking for someone who's so invested that they feel like real people, and the story feels like a real story to
right.
them. Is
right.
that good?
And like I said, I do also want to hear what they've done with their story. Have they been part of a critique group that has helped strengthen the writing? Have they sent it to an editor to strengthen the writing, developmentally or technically? What are they doing as far as a plan for, okay, you've got this story, where is their heart at as far as getting the story out there to the readers? It is a marketing plan, but that's what that means. What ways, what avenues are you looking at to make sure your message does get in front of readers? And we all hear about the platform and the numbers and do you have this, do you have that? A heart to learn and grow means more to me than having this certain amount of numbers following you on social media or your newsletter or whatever. We do have to look at that part of it. It is a business. But at the same time, I'm not one of those people that go, oh, you don't have this many followers, I can't even hear your proposal. If you show me you have a heart to grow and learn, that to me overcomes a lot of those other hangups as far as specific numbers and things like that. I'd much rather have an author who's willing to do that than somebody that says, well, I have these numbers and I have this and that's it, I'm done. This is, I don't need to learn and grow anymore. I don't need to try any harder. I'm doing just fine.
That's very powerful. I love that. I really love that. Yeah.
It's something I'd like to share, to talk about the environment to come to KCWC is, I believe our Hallie Bridgman that was in a previous interview had commented that this is a conference you come to, everybody's approachable, whether it's faculty member, you spot Heather, you can corner her to ask her a question, even if it's not during an appointment, or sit down and sit with Heather or Cindy, me, Sarah, whoever at lunchtime at one of the meals. It's a nice environment to connect, and everybody's like, we're all like part of one big happy family in a sense.
Yeah. KCWC was the first conference I ever attended, and I felt immediately like I was part of a family, and everyone had an encouraging word.
I'm plugging the conference a little bit by showing this is the website, and the link is going to be down below. Our theme this year is Anointed Ink, where calling meets craft, and our verse this year is Psalm 45:1. My heart is moved by a noble theme as I recite my verses to the King. My tongue is the pen of a skillful writer. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the registration button and sign up. And by the way, we have a pre-conference session you can sign up for an additional ticket. And also, there's still a chance they're running out, but if you need a book selling table, grab them before we run out of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wanted to plug it. Get your
I'm glad you did.
Right now we have early bird pricing, so go ahead and grab it while early bird pricing is still available.
And that's
My-
available through August, is that right? Or July?
Trying to remember the ends August 1st. So get your
Okay.
ticket by the end of July to get it's $50 off per person. And then you get to sign up, and I believe that the sessions you get to sign up for to come and see the wonderful Heather Greer are on a sort of first come first served basis.
Yes.
Well, and I have to say, you were talking about the conference and your first experience. My first experience with the conference was the year of COVID, where it all went online. And a group of us, I know that probably isn't good to say considering it was COVID time, but there was a small group of us that got together and watched the broadcast conference together. And I was so impressed with the quality of the conference, even shifting from in person to online, with the heart of the conference. Like I say, even in that, I could feel the prayer that went into this conference. Mm-hmm. And it was just such a strong and great impression on me. And so I have loved this conference since then. And last year was actually my first year being able to attend in person. And so now I'm going to be a regular, Yeah.
That's awesome. We love that. What would you say is your favorite thing about Writers Conference? I know you were sharing earlier, you just got back from one. Mm-hmm. You're speaking at KCWC. There's conferences going on all the time. What is your favorite thing about going to a writers' conference?
I think it's community. Writing can be lonely if we let it. It can feed the introvert's way of doing things, but we don't want to fool ourselves either. God created us for community. We need each other. Mm-hmm. And I love the fact that at Christian conferences especially, I don't know how it is in the general market conferences or anything like that, but in the Christian ones especially, the idea that we're not competition, we're community, and we're there to help each other, and we're there to encourage each other. And I have seen that community at work to encourage myself at various times, to encourage others, to pray for each other, to teach each other, to do all the things, honestly, that the church is meant to do in that setting for believers. Absolutely. In general. I believe the Christian Writers Conference serves that purpose in the smaller world of Christian publishing.
Yeah, definitely. I think you've given so many good sound bites. I just so many nuggets of wisdom. I love that. So yeah, I want to thank you for being here. Greg, do you have anything else before we sign off?
Well, and something when you said that really resonated with me kind of dovetails with what Larry Leach had said in a previous interview, that he had gone to a conference, a writers' conference at one point in time. I think it was a secular conference, and somebody had said, "Where's the room for the interviewees, or where the sessions are with editors and whatnot?" And the person said, "That way." So the person went that way when it was actually that way, and so the person went and took their slot. And I was like aghast at that. Like, I can't comprehend that happening. It's we get together and it's like, meeting up with friends. We're here to help each other. It's like, and I was just kind of astonished that it operates that way. And it's like, no, get over there. And I feel like if it's a totally different world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We realize there's no scarcity. Mm-hmm. We all have an opportunity. We all have the same. Just because someone publishes a book is not going to take away from our book. There's a niche, however you say it. There's a niche for each person. Each person's book has an audience, and we don't have to fight each other to get our book ahead of that person.
Not at all. Not at all.
Like, if we share what we've learned, everything I've learned, I want to share with you. It helps you. It doesn't rob me to share. It's not a trade secret. You know what I mean? And So I'm really stoked with the idea that this, not only are you bringing your experiences to share in your talks, it's you've curated from, I didn't realize you were connected with Your Best Writing Life. Linda Goldfarb was our keynote speaker last year. Fantastic event. And then to
She
be
was
like,
fun.
you're like, let me go get all of this. This is what I'm connected to. This is the information I have. I'm going to curate this and bring this to share with everybody. Let's raise everybody up and make it better for everybody.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, we are very excited to see you again in October in Kentucky at KCWC in Elizabethtown. And we hope that if you're on the fence about whether or not to come, that this just kind of pushed you over the edge and you're willing to sign up. So thank you, Heather. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to the conference.
Great. All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.